Some people can say no without rehearsing it. They can set a boundary and go on with their day. No explanation, no aftershock. I am not one of those people. And if you're listening to this, there's a good chance you aren't either. For you, a boundary isn't just a sentence. It's a risk. It's the moment your chest tightens before you speak. The pause where you calculate tone. The quiet hope that the other person won't change once you finally say what you need. So let's talk about difficulty setting boundaries. Not the Instagram version. Not the just be assertive version. The real one. Because this isn't about being weak. It's not about being too nice. And it's definitely not about lacking confidence. It's deeper than that. Here's the truth most people miss. You don't struggle with boundaries because you don't know what you need. You struggle because somewhere along the way, needing things became unsafe. The fear underneath boundary difficulty isn't rudeness, it's loss, it's rejection. It's the quiet terror of becoming inconvenient. You learned, consciously or not, that saying, "this doesn't work for me," might cost you connection. So now, boundaries feel loaded. A simple request isn't just a request. It becomes a test. A preference isn't just a preference. It becomes a potential disappointment. Self-advocacy isn't neutral. It feels dangerous. Your mind doesn't ask, "Is this reasonable?" It asks, "Will they still want me after this?" That's not indecision. That's fear doing math in the background. Psychology often links this to people-pleasing tendencies or anxious attachment. But stripped of labels, it's simpler than that. At some point early in life, you learned that harmony mattered more than honesty. That being agreeable kept things smooth. That expressing discomfort disrupted the room. Maybe love was inconsistent. Maybe emotions around you were unpredictable. Maybe being easy felt like the safest way to stay connected. No one had to say, "Don't have needs." You absorbed it. Your nervous system made a rule. Keep the peace. Stay flexible. Don't ask for too much. And your body learned to scan before your mouth ever opened. This isn't personality. It's survival. Your system is constantly monitoring. Who seems stressed? Who needs something? Who might pull away if I push back? So you adjust. You soften your language. You delay your truth. You say it's fine when it isn't. Because conflict feels like a threat you can't afford. Here's the irony no one talks about. Boundaries are meant to protect connection, but when you're afraid of losing people, you sacrifice them to keep people. You overextend. You tolerate small discomforts that pile up. You take responsibility for feelings that aren't yours. And from the outside, you look generous, understanding, strong. Inside, you're tired. Because peace that requires self-erasure isn't peace. It's maintenance. The emotional cost isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's the tension you carry home. The resentment you don't want to admit. The low-level exhaustion of always being okay. You start to feel unseen. Not because people don't care, but because you never fully show yourself. And that creates loneliness, even in closeness. Another layer people misunderstand. Difficulty setting boundaries often disguises itself as independence. You tell yourself, you don't need help. You handle things alone. You don't ask much. But that's not freedom. That's control. If you don't ask, you can't be denied. If you don't state limits, you can't be crossed. If you don't need, you can't be disappointed. It looks like strength. It feels like safety. But it comes at a cost. Because when you never practice saying, "This is where I end," people don't know where to meet you. And over time, your body keeps the score. You feel tight when someone asks for something, irritated when plans change, heavy when your calendar fills before you've had a chance to choose. You start blaming yourself. Why can't I just speak up? Why does this feel so hard? Why do I freeze? You're not broken. You adapted to a world where your comfort wasn't always prioritized. You learned that flexibility kept you included, that being low maintenance felt safer than being honest. That adaptation made you perceptive. It made you considerate. It made you emotionally intelligent. You notice shifts before others do. You care deeply about impact. You're loyal, thoughtful, and attuned. The issue isn't that you care too much. It's that your care learned to outrun your safety. Healing here doesn't mean becoming harsh. It doesn't mean swinging to extremes. It doesn't mean cutting people off or building walls. It means teaching your nervous system something new, that a boundary isn't a rejection. That honesty doesn't equal abandonment. That connection can survive discomfort. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about letting the right people stay without losing yourself. And that learning takes time because your body doesn't change rules just because your mind understands them. So go gently. Notice when your chest tightens before you speak. Notice when you over-explain. Notice when "I don't mind" isn't actually true. That awareness isn't failure. It's the beginning of safety. If this resonates more than you expected, you're not alone. There are a lot of people walking around fluent in everyone else's needs, still learning the language of their own. And if you want more conversations like this, quiet, honest explorations of the patterns that shape how we relate, you're welcome to stay. Understanding yourself isn't selfish. It's how you finally stop disappearing in the name of keeping the peace.